Hey, it's Mark, RPM Tesla. We've got a brand new product release today for the new Model Y Juniper owners. Check it out. This, of course, is the Model Y from 2020 through 2025. We've sold thousands of accessories from body kits to floor mats, and our Yoke steering wheels were very popular, especially with our high-speed wireless charging mount that actually hides and disappears and provides vertical viewing as well as horizontal viewing. So this is a great charger. Your eyes are clear, your eyes are up on the road. Well, now for the new Model Y, we've got 3 different types of Yoke style steering wheels, and they're very, very affordable. The first is my favorite. This is carbon fiber. It's beautiful, hand-laid carbon fiber. It's mounted on a core, and of course, it will look great once the bezel is installed. We're gonna show you that next. The most affordable is black and white. These are starting at $159. They're fully heated and they work exactly like your round steering wheel in your Model Y Juniper, except you have a nice clean view of the road and you have this rotational spinning with the yoke. You're gonna love it. So we're gonna show you right now what it's gonna look like in the car, after the car. Then we're gonna show our full installation videos. You have a series of screws and a transfer of your original wheel to your bezel. You get to keep your original wheel. There's no core charge. Let's jump inside. Okay, we're in our Model Y Juniper, and this full interior has been upgraded to our plain weave performance style carbon fiber. Notice this dashboard. This is a performance dashboard from Tesla. We make complementary single plain weave products, from door handles to door switch covers to center consoles. Everything is plain weave for the performance look. But in this case, we're talking about the round steering wheel, and we're going to change it to the yoke. So I want everyone to see the difference in size. You can see how it's basically is the same width, slightly wider, and it's going to install by removing the airbag. Then we call this a bezel, and then removing those components in here and putting it right back on. It only takes about 20 to 30 minutes, and if you have some power tools, it's even quicker. We also want to give everyone a sneak peek. Now, we've been selling thousands and thousands of center console overlays in carbon fiber over the years, whether it's been for the Model 3 or the Model Y. We make dashboards here, and we also have been selling these overlays. We're very excited to be the first one to be selling full center console replacement pieces. So these carbon fiber pieces here, they glide, they're perfect. They're a full replacement for the original plastic silver ones. This is our newest product. This is a textured open pore dry carbon fiber. So this is exactly what you get when you order these 3 pieces. You'll get it in glossy carbon fiber, or you'll get it in matte, or the other option will be this open pore. And lastly will be the plain weave, which is exactly the plain weave style that the dashboard here comes with in a performance Model 3 and a performance Model Y. So not only is this a great new product for the Juniper, it's for all Model 3s and 24. And again, no more overlays. This is nothing sticking on top. This is actually completely laminated to plastic that we are injection molding and putting on top. Lifetime warranty, and it looks beautiful. Again, this is glossy carbon. It doesn't match anything in this car, but we're just in our final prototype development stages, and just look at how perfect it works. There's no issues, there's no fitment issues, and it's complete replacement parts. You just pull the panels off, you snap them in. These actually slide right in to 2 simple pieces, and one is held on with a couple of screws. Well, we'll teach you all about that in our video and how to remove the side panels to install this when this product comes out. But anyway, let's get into the installation now of the Yoke steering wheels. And we're gonna get in the car. We're gonna show you how to take this thing out in a couple minutes and go sit down at a table and transfer everything over. It's really, really easy. Okay, step 1, we're gonna take the airbag out and remove the steering wheel. We recommend you go over to your display, put it under safety, and go to power off. Now, once you turn the power off, don't step on the brake, don't step on the door panels, don't move around too much. And again, this is just a double safety check. Now, what you need is a flat, round screwdriver. And you're gonna stick it right inside this hole on the steering column. Feel for a metal flat plate that's directly straight in, perpendicular to the hole direction while you're holding onto the airbag. And once you get it lined up perfectly, just by poking it. Okay, so now once you wiggle it loose from the front, you're releasing the spring inside, and we'll show you a close-up of that, of what's actually going on. Same thing on this side. Hold the airbag in the front, and the spring will release it. So again, you're just pushing on a pressure plate, and we'll show you in about 1 second what's going on beneath the airbag. Okay, and once you push it in on this side and release it, it comes loose like this. And now here are the two cords. So we're going to show you what's going on. Okay, and before we take the two locking clips out, we want to show you what this is doing. So there's a spring that runs behind the black plastic area on both sides. And when you insert the tool in here, you can see the spring move. So right there, when you're up against the spring, you'll see it moving right there. See it moving back and forth? Kind of in and out, going real close. So this is the spring. So once you release the spring right there and you pull up on the airbag on both sides, see the spring here is right here. Once we do that, then the airbag comes out that easy. So it's just a spring, and you have to be parallel. You can't go under it or on top of it. I mean, under it or behind it. Anyway, there it's moving now. Okay, now let's get to the plug removal. Again, you need a small screwdriver with a flat head or even a torque bit will do the trick. And again, once you put it in here, you're looking for that spring connection, and then you feel the spring, you push it in and it comes out. Okay, let's take the two plugs out now. Now this is very, very critical. A lot of companies copy us and duplicate our videos, and they're not showing up close. So this yellow cord has to come off first. So this plug has to be removed. And we're pinching it on the top and the bottom and wiggling it carefully. This is the airbag power. Make sure that nothing has come apart here. This all has to fit in perfect when you push it back in. Okay, now the purple cord. The purple cord here, if you do not unplug this and you pull on this steering wheel, you're going to destroy the steering column wiring. So please, please, please be very careful. Make sure you press on both tabs, the top and the bottom. You can use needle nose pliers or 2 fingers, and then once you release the 2 tabs, you wiggle the cord and it comes straight out. Okay, so see how the 2 tabs are on the ends? You're just squeezing those 2 tabs right here, and then it wiggles out. Okay, now your steering wheel is ready to come off. Now we recommend that you, again, turn the power off. If you do anything to wake the car up, it will wake up. Okay. Okay, now we're going to supply you with this 10mm socket that you have to connect to a 1/2-inch drive and use it on some kind of a long bar. It can be a torque bar, it could be a ratchet, whatever you have. Insert it into the middle, tap on it, press it in firmly. You don't want to strip this bolt. Come out here and apply torque. Comes off very easy most of the time. Sometimes you need a little help from someone. And once you unthread it, get it started, and then finish it by hand, and your steering wheel is going to come off. It's that easy. Now don't get out of the car and close your door, because that'll wake your car up. We don't want the car to know the airbag's been taken out. And now you're going to wiggle the steering wheel off. So we recommend you try left and right first. Left and right, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Now if you left this purple cord connected, you're going to rip this whole thing out and destroy all the wiring. So do not forget to take both of the plugs off. Okay, now we're going to go over and lay out how to dismantle and how to move the whole core to your new steering wheel you just ordered and received. And again, we've got white vegan leather, black vegan leather, and carbon fiber choices. And again, everything is in stock right now for the vegan black and white. All right, we're in our clean room here. We recommend you have a nice clean area. You don't want to lose screws or any hardware. And we're going to show you how to transfer the bezel to the Yoke Steering Wheel. You're gonna need a lot of tools, a few pieces. We're gonna identify them as we go. The first one is an H5. This is a hex nut. It could be a long Allen, but power tools are faster. Again, these are spring-loaded clock springs, and there's a spring behind each one. First, we're gonna take off this little clip here, which is a ground or a connection for the electronics. So, okay, now we're gonna take off, and you see how the airbag presses down on the hex, on the clock spring, it's called. All right, so we're gonna loosen these up, take each of these off, and there will be a spring behind each one. So after we do that, you'll see the plate comes out, and the springs are staying with it. So again, you gotta be a little gentle because the bolts will fall out, but the springs are staying with it. So we're going to be putting them in here. And again, just transfer it like this and leave all the springs on the back to your next area. Okay, next piece is the final dismantle of the plastic shell on the bezel. And again, this is just a regular Phillips screw. We're unthreading it through the aluminum, the cast aluminum piece, the Tesla OEM one. Okay, that's 2 of those. Next is on the back side. So on the back, we've got 4 to remove. So use a drill or a power tool to remove these. And again, we'll keep going here in real time and let everyone know what to expect. And once we get these 4 pieces off, we're going to start showing you how to separate the bezel. And I've got a couple underneath the archway. Now some people are selling these for the Teslas without the lower V pattern here connecting it, which means it's going to be very weak. So look out for those that only have 2 cross sections to hold the steering wheel and the airbag in place. You want this structural reinforcement for the bottom of the steering wheel. We've had customers even ask us. They say that it's easy to place to put your hand in the middle. Well, you'd rather have a nice strong steering wheel, we think, than to not have it mounted to the lower section. So you need all 3 of these areas to support the airbag structure, the bezel, and if there's ever any kind of deployment, you need the strength. Okay, so after you remove that, take this little V piece off. Now we do offer this in carbon fiber in many finishes. It's a very popular item for us. Of course, it's gonna get mounted here. All right, let's go back. On the back side now, we're gonna be separating the actual bezel from the aluminum piece. So notice we're kind of like pulling it apart here. And then we're gonna be releasing the back shell. So it's gonna all snap together. Just pull it apart and we'll show you carefully as we remove it what to expect. So there's clips that are holding these pieces together as well as the bottom. Always turn it over and check it. You can see what's going on the top up here. And here's the bottom. We're just gonna release these tabs. So now the shell, the plastic shell, is released. And we're gonna disconnect a couple of plastic cords and clips, which again is for the heat transfer or the connection between the right and left side. So notice the blue clip. Just gonna release that. All right, so now what we've done is taken the bottom shell off, and you can see all the clips here. It's just gonna grab and hold on. And we've got the U-shaped support beam. And now we're down to the switches, okay? So again, you're transferring the Tesla OEM switches. You'll never have a problem with firmware, with any changes to come from Tesla. That's the nice thing about using their components with this replica steering wheel. Same thing here, release this from the back. Okay, great. Now this piece is off. So this is the back piece. So we've just taken off 2 back pieces and 1 metal one. And now we're down to the switches. Now this seems to take the longest time. We have to disconnect the heat connection wire, which transfers the heat into the wheel core. It'll be connected to our plug that fits perfect. And now we're gonna release these plastic tabs, which is holding the wiring in the exact location where you need it. So just use a little pick, push the tabs in, and you'll see these 2 tabs are right here. So we're gonna be using the same ones to put it in the same spot. This all matters when the airbag gets put in there. It has to sit nice and flat and flush. Okay, 1 more in the center, right above the center spline. So when you push it in, you pull from the other side, and it'll release. Pretty simple. Okay. So now we're gonna go grab the T10. And when we're done with this video, we're gonna make a list of all of the items you'll need. We like to include them because we sell so many steering wheels. We just buy hundreds of these tools. So that way, when you get it, you'll be able to install it. So this is kind of learn as we go. No promises yet, but we always include the torque bit for the steering wheels because Tesla uses the same size for every steering wheel with that 10 millimeter. And you can see the spline, how it's all lined up perfect. So you'll never be able to put this in crooked. It always fits great. All right, so we have a T15, T10. And we're gonna crack each of these loose now. And just put everything on a desk in order and keep this video out. You can always flip back to it, watch it over and over again. We got a lot of customers come in here saying, I watched it about 20 times because you might want to take a break or do something and come back. So just use this real-time video as your installation guide. It's probably about the 100th one we've made. We did this entire thing for, of course, the new Highland Model 3 when it came out in 24, 25. And now we're on the other side. And these are all the same length. There's nothing to worry about mixing them up. You see, we keep a nice pile, keep count. But it's not too bad, as long as it's all gonna match up perfectly on this core, we'll have no issues whatsoever. And we're gonna install this in our showroom Model Y. And then when we get our performance in a couple weeks, we'll make a real nice white one for the performance. So now this is your original wheel. Just keep it. If you ever need to put it back to stock for any reason, you're about to go back into Tesla for any kind of service, switch it all back, and no need to send it in. Okay, now we're gonna work on the transferring. So we're gonna go in reverse. So we're taking the switches and we're leaving them on the table, and we're gonna put them on this next aluminum cast core. So again, this is the bezel pieces, and this is the core, which is cast aluminum. Everything is threaded to match up perfectly. So we're gonna start with this side. Attaching the back of the switches to the core. You can see it's a real super crazy angle. So we're just gonna get them started. Try to back up so you can always tell where we're at. Okay, so that's the one side. Move to the other side. And we'll keep rolling along here, and we'll count all the minutes up and all of the different tools and sizes you'll need for these torque bits. And that extreme close-up. Check. Yep, make sure you're nice and flat and flush. Now you don't want the switches sticking out. You want to make sure they're flat and flush. You don't want to have any, you don't want the field original OEM. And if it fits good, we're going to tighten them all up, and that'll even pull them in a little closer. So since we're mounting the switches to the core, it's also the fitment area for where your thumbs are going to sit on the front. And we're hand tightening everything here, obviously. We don't want to crack the plastic because it is being threaded through the center of the core into the plastic on the other side. So don't use power tools here. Just nice and snug. Okay, switches are nice and smooth and flush. Could push them a little bit more maybe. But as long as they're working, it looks great. Okay? All right, now we're gonna flip it back over, and I think next we're gonna connect the white plastic tips all the way through. Right, each one of these white pieces we're gonna put back into the center locations. So 1, 2, 3. Again, that's going to keep this wire harness out of the way of the airbag, so it's nice and secure. That's all we got, just those 3. So we never disconnected the switches, which is nice. We never took anything apart, just the heat. And now we're going to reconnect the heat cable and do this before we put the housing back on. You could even get in the car at this point and test it if you wanted to, but we're certain everything's gonna work and the heat's gonna work. So now look how we're sliding this over the top. So again, sometimes you gotta move the wires out of the way, but this is just designed to fit right over, connect on the front, and you can see here, they're gonna get it nice and flat and flush, and all these are just gonna clip together, right? The switches are good, the rolls are scrolling, nothing's touching the roller balls. Yeah, sometimes if you over tighten these things, you can have this issue. So now you can see how we're gonna pinch it, and we're gonna put these screws back in after we put the bottom base on. Now, the heat wire has to go in one spot. Obviously, it's gonna run up the middle like this, behind the plastic shell. Don't scratch the vinyl here. You wanna be careful with the bottom of this when we place this on. So we're gonna go around these two, like this. So I'm going around it like this, around the wire and down. So now I didn't damage it. Because synthetic leather obviously is not real animal hide in it. You can damage it as it's really only plastic. Here again, we're pulling it forward, getting everything to grab and clip on. So you'll know when you've got it right, because everything is going to match back up the same way it came apart. We got access on the side panels that have to line up for these screws. So you see here, that's going to line up to my thumbs pushing on it. So you've got leeway to make lots of adjustments. And again, now we're going to show you how to hide the power wire or the heat wire. So that's got to go out of the way. And also when you put these screws in, you've got to get this out of the way and around the edges. So we're going to show you all that up close when you see what we're doing when we put the screws in. Now for the carbon fiber version of this, we're going to give you a piece of rubber, thin rubber pad that's going to stop squeaking between the carbon and the plastic. So just like in our Juniper wheels, metal and plastic squeak under pressure, and same thing if you have carbon fiber and plastic touching. So again, we'll continue on that. We'll show you that in a little more detail, and we'll include an extra instructional sheet so So we're just pinching and squeezing, lining everything up, snapping it all together, and then the screws are just gonna hold it. And then always check the front before you start putting anything back together on the back. And we got a great fit. And these will be the last 2 screws, and then this is the cloth here. So we have to make sure that once we come around to the front, we'll show you how to hide this and not interfere with the screws that are gonna go in. But let's continue with the back. And we'll start with all the black screws and the Phillips screwdriver. So again, sometimes you just gotta line everything up. Once it's in place, it'll be pretty self-explanatory. So start all 4 of these screws, you just wanna start them. And then we'll jog it around a little bit and make sure they're all going in nice and straight so we don't misthread anything. Because you notice the first one's a little off angle here. Once we get all 4 in and we start them, then we're gonna remove the plastic accordingly. And you just don't want to, that one's gonna come up a little bit, I think. So it's nice and straight down. And do it slow, take your time. Again, if you tighten it too much, you can crack the plastic housing. So we've got this torque wrench set to, the impact set to number 1, the lightest setting. We're using a Milwaukee, of course. One crack. Now look at how nice it fits. The fitment is perfect and awesome. And these will be after we close the back up, and the bottom is next. So again, go to the front, and now we got to look at this wire. If we're putting screws through here to go into this base, we have to have a clear path for the heat wire. So let's take a look up close. Okay, now here we go. The final placement of the heat wire that's going to transfer the power into the steering wheel, so the whole thing is heated. We have to get this obviously looped through here. And now we're gonna get it to the side and bring some slack up here. This way. I'm gonna go with the other side. And now the screws are gonna mount from the back. And we're pressing the wire down there. Okay, so again, we're gonna try to tuck this wide wire around and down like this so we can put the screws through, okay? So route it either to the right or the left side, and you'll notice that it's kind of hollow on the back of this V clip. And once we get underneath both sides, it'll sit nice and flat, okay? So now we're gonna hold it from the back side, as we're doing, and we're gonna put the screws through, and it's gonna pinch it, but that's why we have that wire with such a thick housing on that wire harness, so we won't have any risk of it getting pinched or breaking. It's just the only entry point for the yoke to get the heat in, the heat induction wires in. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. And again, this is really gonna support and keep the airbag strong, centered in this thing. Don't buy one of the ones with this missing bottom piece. Don't think it's smart. It's another one of those things like putting decorative things on your airbag. It's not recommended by National Highway Transportation. You don't want things flying off you. Avoid any kind of emblems unless they're vinyl. Some of our crazy competitors are putting Tesla plastic pieces on there that can fly off and hit you in the face. So again, don't do it. Only leave the airbag so it will open straight out, and don't put anything in there that can fly out and hit your driver. Okay, now we're doing our finished hand torquing on the back here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, flipping it over, checking everything, make sure the switches are level, make sure everything's nice and flush. All right, now we're ready to hide the heat wire, bring the spring clock back in, and this is for the back side, this little piece, of course. So we're gonna lock this in. Again, you took this off with a pick, just popping it out, it all clips back in. And now what we've got is a few wires. We've got the purple power wire for the entire unit, and we have the heat wire. So the airbag has to fit in the same way it came out, with lots of room. So now we've got the heat wire tucked in and pressed down the side. We've got this loose wire that we're gonna collect. It's a ground, I think. We're gonna connect it to the center. And the purple wire we've got hanging out of the way. So we're ready to put the spring clock back in. Make sure. Okay, before we put it in, we got a couple more screws to put in, which is gonna secure the bezel assembly. Now, these wires are designed to fit up in this little harness retention area. It's smart for both sides. You want this area clear because the horn has to honk. And if for some reason it won't compress these springs all the way, your horn is not going to honk. So it's very important to make sure these wires are put all the way out of the alignment area and tucked in down below. Okay. So we're really making sure everything is in its place, just like this. Great. All right, one more screw is at 3 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock. And there's one black one, and then we'll put the spring back in. Then we're gonna jump in the car and check everything out. Let you know what temperature it heats up to. There should be 2 different temperature settings now. And again, you gotta make sure you go nice and easy and these threads go in perfect. You don't wanna cross set everything or have to install it without all the screws in place. I'm getting tired of talking. Last one is the ground, or the yellow ground, I believe. The clip must be another power source. I honestly don't know exactly, but it has to do with the horn. I think on the other power lead, the blue lead. Yellow's probably ground.
Sorry.
So just tighten it all down. And then again, the clock spring. And this is an Allen hex, but we're using something else. We're using a T30, which seems to fit pretty good. Okay. All right, we're ready to go. Okay. We're gonna drop it in really slowly and carefully, all the way down, making sure the springs are lined up on the flat plate behind it. It's sitting on a post. Notice right here, that post is critical. And then this one. And now we're gonna start threading them in. So thread them in slowly. And then a final turn. And your airbag is ready and connecting the power. All right, now we're gonna go back in the car and install it. Okay, Tesla's manuals say 50 foot-pounds of torque, which means nice and snug, not crazy tight. So we've removed the original and we've transferred it to the yoke. And now we're gonna get started with the final installation. So again, we wanna line up the spline. So let me show you real quick. There's no way to install this incorrectly or unlevel. There's one groove at the top, and that's gonna line up with our groove, and it's gonna simply slide right on. So you're gonna put it over the core and then wiggle it back and forth and just turn it a little bit until it pushes right in. It's very simple, but if you're off plane or off the correct angle, sometimes it won't go in. So now, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna plug in the purple cord. Sorry, I don't have the light on. It'll clip right in. This gets placed out of the way. Remember, the airbag is gonna come down and push on this. So all the wires have to be set. We're gonna tighten this up by hand and then use our torque bar and set it to 50 pounds of torque. And we'll actually show you outside the car how effortless it really is. Why don't I hold it? So we'll take it outside and show you. So we're at 50 foot-pounds. You can just use a ratchet. You don't need this, but we're just letting you know that this is the recommended torque specifications. But over the years, we've taken hundreds of steering wheels off all these cars, installing them, putting them on customer cars. You just get it nice and snug. It's not going to work its way off. But buy the book, buy the spec. So it should beep when we're at 50. So Ryan, can you put your hand on the right side? Now watch how much pressure it takes until we'll hear the torque bar beep. Still moving pretty easy. There we go. 50-inch foot-pounds or 50 foot-pounds. All right, let's keep going. Next is the airbag. So again, the purple cord is connected. The yellow cord is last, but all this plastic, make sure you haven't pulled any of the wires out. It sits right around the ignition unit. And check the horn by pushing on it. It's all gonna work fine. Our power has come back on, but it's okay. Now we're gonna plug the airbag in. It clicks. The warning goes away. It reads it that quick. Now we're gonna insert the airbag. Now do it nice and slow. Line it up. Make sure the wires are not in the way of anything. We're gonna just tap it gently in the middle. The horn for a honk. And it's holding perfect. Now, do a honk test. Try all the corners.
Center.
In the center. And everything's great. All right, now let's turn the heat on. And I'll go get the heat gun and let's show how warm it gets. Okay, now once you power it up, click on your air conditioning settings. Now I'm sure everyone loves the sweeping settings here. It's pretty cool. The advancements in the Model Y are in no other Teslas in some areas. So right now there's 3 settings. There's medium, off, and auto. Auto comes on automatically based on the temperature in your cabin. Full heat is full heat. So we're gonna let it get real warm right now, and we're gonna let you know the temperature. So right now in the vehicle, you'll see here, it's about 75 degrees on the dashboard. If you see the red light, we come over here, it's at 96, 93. And what we do is we go all the way around. It varies from, 80 to 90 degrees all the way around normally. 80, see we got some areas of 76, because it's warming up and it's kind of spreading out and dispersing, so to speak. So now let's go to super hot. Let me get turned off and we'll get it real warm. Okay, we've had it on for about 30 seconds now. And yeah, usually around 90 degrees, 85 to 90 degrees is great in the winter time. And if I put it down on medium over here, you can see, it should drop 5 or 10 degrees. So it's kind of nice. Sometimes when I drive home, I don't use the auto switch. I just always have it on. It's just nice to have something warm to hold on to. And you should feel the heat all around the entire yoke. And like we said, it's going to disperse and spread out through the core. There's a core underneath the wheel that actually helps disperse it, or the actual perimeter. So right now it's a lot cooler but still warm. So this is on the medium setting, and we're getting 980s, early 80, 82, 86, some warm spots. And then if we go all the way up, so again, you can leave it on auto, not worry about it, but at least you know your yoke's gonna be okay. Now before we close up our demo installation video, we're going to mention in a second about testing all the switches, but make sure there's no clearance issues. Sometimes if the screws are put in on angles and not correctly installed, you might have a rub between the steering wheel column and the back. But we have no issues here because we did it nice and slow and hand tightened it. So like, again, we've sold hundreds of these for the Model 3, and we know all about the production and all about the potential issues. So as long as you got no rubbing, there's no problem. If you do have rubbing, you've got to remove it, take the airbag off, and check the alignment of all the screws, because something is not in all the way, and the back plastic should not be making contact with the column. Thank you. Okay, and now the last thing is visibility. Now, one of the things that we like to explain is the range of movement. So here, you can see it from that angle there. Now this is all the way up, and this is all the way in. This is out, this is in, and this is all the way down. So depending on how high you have your chair, the height of your torso, many settings, you get to play around with it. But look at the range here. You can go all the way up like this, all the way down. So several inches of play just with the power steering wheel. And now in terms of range, here you have a lot of visibility. You know, a lot of the clusters that people are selling, that we've sold in the past, fit in here nicely, show your visibility. But also our cell phone high-speed wireless charging pad or mount is great, because you can put your phone on horizontal or vertical. So we'll get some pictures of that real quick. But that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll separate the time out. I want to make a list of all the tools you're going to need, and we'll let you know what we're going to be including when we start shipping these, because they're in stock as of our Black Friday sale in black and white, and more coming, more in production now. So it's a nice clean look. You got to love it. The Yoke from Tesla. And again, you have your shifters and all your switches work. Make sure your wipers work. Make sure your camera button works. Test everything as soon as you hook it up before you drive away. Thanks again. It's RPM Tesla, and this is Mark.